welcome to #Goals the show. I have Gitel Rosenzweig in the house. We are going to be wigging out today, and we're going to talk all about what you do. We're going to talk about wigs, which is what it's all about now, isn't it? It's a crazy job you have.
It's not so crazy. I see it as hair.
Right.
We talk about hair. We talk about people being in hair. We don't talk
I like
about
that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about.
I consider it an appendage.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it, though.
Yeah, it's like putting on clothes. You know.
Yeah.
Are clothes so fun all the time? No, you have to wear them. I mean, if you walked around, whatever. Let's not go there.
We are going to talk about hair today.
And how to get your hair.
And how to get it right. And how to make your hair look like it's coming out of your head.
How long do we have?
I want to dive right in and talk about the biggest faux pas people make when they are wig shopping.
In the consultation.
Right. Exactly.
So, to me, the biggest faux pas, and that's such a loaded question.
I know.
The biggest faux pas is missing the consultation. Not just about me, it's about professionals. It's about missing the consultation. It's about going somewhere for a sale, which I don't blame on the people that are sale hunting. I blame the culture of buying everything on sale. It's a combination of so many different things, but that to me is what's missing. You're missing somebody who's going to tell you whether it's, and some people get it right when they go on sale.
But is there that one thing people are missing when they're looking for a wig that you're noticing?
My pet peeve is fitting. Mm-hmm. Because if it's sitting here on you, it's just not going to look normal.
Right.
And if it's not sitting here, or if it's not sitting there, or if it's not covering you, if you have one of those low hairlines and nobody knows to point out to you that your wig shouldn't be up here when your hair is down here. This is really my favorite. Girls that have tremendous amounts of hair underneath and wrap it around the sides of their head. And,
is there a secret to hiding your hair under a wig? Is there a right way to do that?
It's so funny that you brought that up, because I really brought her almost exactly for that reason. I don't know. Should we call her Eliana? Should we name her after?
Sure. Yes.
Her namesake. And I tell this to people. I have a whole speech, and I draw it on cardboard for everybody. The head curves outwards, and then around here, which if you're in a medical field, you know is the occipital bone. The head continues to curve inwards, starts to curve inward, but the shape continues to curve outwards. So if you picture a half moon shape of slack across the back of your head, that's where your hair belongs. Whether you wrap it in a loose bun and spread it across there, or even some people with longer, thicker, fuller hair do better if they put it in pigtails and spread it across that half moon shape of slack. That's really where your hair belongs.
So suppose someone is newly married or engaged, and they're looking at wigs for the first time in their life. What should they look for when they're shopping for a wig?
The first thing that I want to teach them is the differences between the construction of a wig and your hair, so that you know what not to look for and what not to judge a wig by. Right. If you're shopping on a sale, and I do have plenty of loyal, long-term clients who are just looking to save money and do go do a sale, and again, I'm not blaming the sales, but I tell them you have to make sure the color is good, because depending on the hair quality, you may or may not be able to change it. Make sure the texture is good, because again, on lesser quality hair, you're not going to be able to change it. And the fit should be good. Okay. Because if you have to start spending money fitting it, and you may think it feels too big, and in reality it's too small and riding off of your head because it's too small. So you think it's too big because it's flying off, but it's really too small, and then you have to spend. Making things smaller is always easier. Making things bigger is so much more expensive. Not all professionals include all of these services in a purchase. You need to make those things clear also. You can always go shorter, so obviously start longer.
To educate our viewers on wigs, can we talk about the different kinds of wigs that are available in terms of the net style? I know lace fronts, everyone's talking about a lace front now.
I'm gonna get rid of a huge misconception right now. Lace does not belong on everybody. There are certain hairlines that go with it, certain hairlines that don't. When it's sitting flush against your skin, it disappears. And so the hair that's sewn into the lace looks like it's coming out of your skin.
Right.
But when it's not sitting against skin and it's sitting against hair, it doesn't disappear.
Right.
So if your hairline is anything other than that perfect pattern, if you don't have custom lace, it's going to look really fake and Frankenstein. There's 100 different reasons why not everybody should be wearing lace. Then the rest of, I'd say 95% of the wigs on the market today, hair differences, hair quality aside, the construction is almost all the same. Most of them are made with multi-directional tops. The multi-directional tops might be more dense or less dense. Right now there's a trend towards less dense, but there was a trend towards more dense. Okay, there's going to be some hair along the front edge, whether there's a thinner, finer fabric lining the front edge to mimic a lace front. There's going to be in a multi-directional top several layers of fabric, and it's necessary. You can't do without it. The only way you can do without it is if you have a whole lace top, because then you can have only one layer of fabric or 2 layers of fabric as opposed to 3 or 4. And then across the back, the current gold standard of construction, when you see these lines, that's wefts. Those are machine sewn strings of hair going across the head, around the back of your head. Okay. This is a stretch net. Lace is not as stretchy. If you look, it's not as flexible. Okay?
Got it.
So it's a full lace top.
Got it.
And it's a fully hand-tied construction.
Got it.
Okay. Next, if you look really closely, it's crazy thin.
Right, it is.
Which is the first thing that makes it so lightweight. And number 2 is that the hand-tied stitches leave behind all that extra thread holding the wefts together, and so that's what makes, I think I just ate hair. It's like it's
I was gonna say, this is what you do every
it's
day.
a hazard of my job. It's like every day. If it's in your coffee, you just turn it around and drink from the other side. The detriments to this are that because the stitches are on the surface, you have that thickness at the root.
Right.
Which, for some people who like big hair, is totally normal and natural. It eventually pops up at the roots. The other reason why these are high maintenance is because they're extremely delicate. I've actually had to counsel chemo patients, alopecia patients, and explain to them that they have to wash their wigs so much more often.
Right.
Because there's nothing absorbing their oils and their sweat. Your own hair would absorb those oils and sweat, and therefore it wouldn't come in contact with the wig as fast. While if you have no hair, it's going to absorb into the cap and wear and tear on the construction of the cap that much faster.
Is there a certain shampoo that you recommend?
Cheaper products, I believe that they're higher water content and therefore dilute better and don't get stuck in your stitches as quickly, and so I'm actually big into cheap. Rule number 1, no 2-in-1s.
Yeah.
No 2-in-1s, because 2-in-1 conditioner and shampoo together is designed, yes, it's designed to clean, but it's designed to leave behind the residue. This looks like real hair, except for the fact that it looks like really bleached hair.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to behave how bleached blonde hair behaves, which is fine.
Right.
If that's
going
what
for
you're
that,
used to. Try to go for something that's as close as possible to your own hair. Because for a newbie getting married and putting something on your head, there's so much trauma just having to wear it every day that having to change your style and go from no bangs to bangs or from brown to blonde, in my opinion, is not a great idea. I just gave like a whole speech about not changing too much, and like you're sitting here in like your bangs and your bleach and your...
You should see my whole collection, you would love it.
How come you don't have silver?
I really wanted silver,
We
but
just
it went
talked
out of
about being gray
style.
girls.
But the problem with silver is that it went out of style so fast that by the time I made the decision, no one was doing it anymore.
Problem.
Let's talk about this.
Okay. Can I make you crazy self-conscious?
Sure.
Only if you promise not to edit it.
Okay, fine. Uh-oh.
Okay. I see, walking down the street, I see problems.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't pick on people. I don't judge people for them. Most of the time I see them and I say, somebody did this to this poor girl, you know, and she didn't know enough going into it. Now you know more. This didn't happen to this wig because you knew more already. You were married longer. You had been through several different mistakes and problems and whatever. But I see this. Whether it's by design or not, I see the coning because most of the time, and it happens to be there's not a tremendous amount of space underneath it.
Right.
Most of the time, this is not by style or design.
Right.
This is by fit.
Yeah.
If you're doing this and I see
Which
your
I did
hairline,
often, yeah.
I'm gonna know that it's not fitting your temple to temple measurement. These bangs were not cut with any continuity. And when that's a trend, that's fine.
Right.
But doing that on a wig, and then having to reshape all your bangs and recut could make potential future mistakes and seriously compromise the life expectancy of the wig, because you basically did a trendy bang instead of a blendy bang.
Right.
Could we make a hashtag out of it? It rhymes.
Wow, we have a lot of really good hashtags going on today.
Last thing I see is that it's oxidized.
Right.
Because the shade here is no longer enough different from down here.
Right.
And it's got that orangey tone that speaks to too much sun exposure. So the first thing I would hit with this is always color. That's my first problem solution. People don't realize how many problems color can solve. I would put it on her hairline and made sure that if we lift it up, we see her hair, but if we don't lift it up, we don't see her hair. That's the sweet spot. We're gonna run from the center, we're gonna run around, running our fingers along the edge of the fabric. And we're gonna look for a fingertip space of clearance above her ears and behind her ears. People don't realize that that's actually very headache inducing. There are nerve endings behind your ears that can cause migraines. And then we'll come around to the bottom and check that it's sitting in the right place on the nape. So we basically check the perimeter of the head first. And then once we've done all that and pinned in place everything we want, if there's additional excess, we can take it in the back. Sometimes when I can't figure out exactly what's going wrong with her head, I will take measurements of the head and then take measurements of the cap of the wig and compare them and see what's wrong.
And I see people recommending you. I hear your name so much, it just comes
It's
up.
a little too much sometimes.
But it's amazing what you've created based on your knowledge
based on
and experience.
Based on also my integrity.
Right.
I absolutely refuse to take people's money for the wrong reasons.
Right.
It's not just about being in business, because it's not worth being in business if you have to struggle with who you are as a person and what your values are.
Absolutely.
You know, I never want to be that person who says, yes, it's beautiful on you, and then takes your money and then doesn't take care of you.
Well, the common denominator that I see based on people's comments and this recurring praise about you is that people feel like you really genuinely care about them.
All my clients are my friends.
But you see it. We're gonna move on to a game
Oh gosh.
called Good Hair, Bad Hair. What do we think about the super long, glamorous
So
wig look?
I'm feeling my age a little, so whenever I see anything she does, she's hot.
All right, what do we think about the bob look on Salma Hayek?
So I'm not so concerned about that bob, but what's up with that color?
Nicole Kidman, who's wearing my wig.
Don't love bangs on her.
What do we think about the pony extension?
So fake hair.
Sia. What do we think?
I think she is the true definition of an artist.
Do you have a favorite hair color to work with?
No, I don't.
They're all equal.
My favorite jobs are when I can take a wig that's a very flat, uneven tone and put it on a collar who has 17 different shades in her hair and mimic Maseh Hashem.
Wow.
That to me, that's my favorite. That's my,
And
when
you
I
do
do a color job
Right.
that comes out so identical to a girl getting married, and she puts it on and it's seamless, and I'm cutting it and it's wet on her head and it's holding her head just so, and I can't tell whether or not she's wearing a wig and I'm the one cutting it. That to me, that's my favorite. That's my absolute favorite.
Yeah, that must feel really rewarding.
It is.
You can follow Gitel at GitelWigs on Instagram to follow her amazing wig work. If you agree that Gitel is #goals, then please be sure to like this video, leave some comments and love down below, and be sure to subscribe for more #goals to show.
Oh my god.
There we go.